All righty, 10:02 on the fan. Today's the day. Today is the day. Today is the day. We think it's today. Can you explain something to me? Like, in all seriousness, by the way, I have a little remnant of bagel on my whisker here. It's absolutely disgusting. Why is it okay for LeBron and half of the NBA to dictate what happens with their teams, but Aaron Rodgers is offering the Jets a little guidance so he's comfortable, and everybody's got an issue with this?
I have no
What's the difference?
It's different because it's the NBA is a player-run league, whereas the NFL, every player, kind of regardless of how good you are, maybe some of these quarterbacks are the exception, but most every player except for the quarterback, I caveat that, the great quarterbacks are expendable. So if, I don't know, a wide receiver comes in and Odell Beckham Jr. at his height comes in and says, I need this tight end to play with, they'd be like, okay, get lost, dude. It's interesting because Aaron Rodgers has done this before. Now, we'll find out later today whether or not at least we better find out later today on Pat McAfee show.
And by the way, I'm not so sure that we do, but keep going. I'm not so sure that we do find out today.
Yeah, you know what?
I'm
BT, you're
telling
probably
you.
not wrong. But whatever. We hope we find out later today what Aaron Rodgers' plan is for next week. And Pat McAfee is going to ask him about these, I guess, alleged wish list players. Now, he's done this before. Right, he always used to talk. When Mike McCarthy was getting fired in Green Bay, he talked about how he pined for his guys. You know, we need Randall Cobb back, and we need this guy. And you know, the Green Bay Packers acquiesced to an extent, and they went and got Randall Cobb again, even though he really didn't contribute much over the last couple of years. Now we're talking about Randall Cobb coming to the Jets. It almost feels like Aaron Rodgers is doing it just to see if the Jets will do it. Now, Alan Lazard, I will give credit. He is a very good wide receiver.
Love the signing.
Definitely an upgrade.
Love it.
Over Corey Davis.
Yep.
So, again, Lazard, I'll take. That's fine. That's good for the Jets, whether or not Aaron Rodgers is here or not. He's a really good slant runner, gets off the ball. He's big. He makes most catches. He doesn't drop very many balls. He's going to be fine in this offense, regardless of who the quarterback is. But when you start hearing, we need to get Odell Beckham Jr., we need to get Mercedes Lewis, let's go get Randall Cobb, it puts the Jets in position of being governed by a guy who's not interested in team building. He's interested in himself. And that should be worrisome if you're a Jet fan and thinking about the short and long-term careers of Joe Douglas and more specifically Robert Saleh.
I'm not worried one bit. I don't think about the long-term or short-term, tenure of Joe. I worry about what my Sunday's going to be like. That's my main concern here, Mr. Tiki.
Sunday.
Every Sunday, at least for the first year or so. And I think they get a 2-year commitment. And by the way, what I said to Tiki before, and I agree with Greg, Gio was saying this morning, I don't know. I know everybody's waiting for this absolute demonstrative, presentation or acknowledgement. Yep, I'm on the Jets. I don't think we're getting that because I don't think that we can. Unless the Jets and the Packers announce this trade between now, it's 10:06, and 1 o'clock when he joins McAfee, I don't think that we necessarily get what we're looking for. Now, to me, that doesn't matter because I've been completely convinced he's going to be a Jet for a long time, so I'm not worried about that. I'm more interested in the way, certainly a few inconsistencies. That's why I brought up the NBA, like, LeBron. And I know some people have issue with what LeBron has done as well. But for the most part, it's accepted player empowerment, structuring of teams and aligning players with their guys. But, one all-time great quarterback tries to get a couple of possession receivers in here, a tight end who's 39. By the way, I don't even think Finley's coming. And Randall Cobb, everybody's throwing a fit. Why? Because Aaron Rodgers is perceived to be a little aloof or a little different. I think he's taken the heat, not because of what he's trying to do, which, by the way, I totally agree with. You want your best player to be comfortable, but I think a lot of people take some I think he's an easy target because he's a little different, a little quirky.
Aaron?
Yeah, a little aloof.
But who
is
does
what it
this?
is.
Who does this?
But who has the juice to do this? There's two people in the last 20 years who have had the juice to do that. Tom Brady, and by the way, Tom Brady did it by bringing Gronk down to yes, he did.
Yeah, but Gronk
and Aaron Rodgers is going to do it. So I have no problem with this.
So, but Gronk was different than Mercedes Lewis. He's 39 years old.
Mercedes Lewis.
But I'm saying you brought him up, a blocking tight end.
But he's not here yet.
But I know. But he's on his list. He's on. Quote unquote on the list. When you have C.J. Uzama and Tyler Conklin,
Uzama sucked. He did nothing.
Who you just paid free agent money
Uzama
to.
did nothing.
By the way, you drafted a tight end and Jeremy Ruckert as well. So, I mean, Mercedes Lewis is pointless. Randall Cobb is pointless. Odell Beckham Jr. might be interesting, but he's a third wide receiver at best on your squad. You're going to pay him $20 million.
Nobody's paying him $20 million.
I agree, but it just doesn't make sense.
Sure, it does.
And so to me, and trust me, people around the league are kind of chuckling at the Jets
That's
right now.
fine. Let's see if they're laughing when they get waxed 35-10.
They're not laughing in their face, but they're chuckling about the Jets because of what's happening.
Why? Because the Jets have no control?
No.
They've abandoned control.
Aaron Rodgers has done this almost every year. Well, we need this guy. Go get this guy. Especially after they screwed him and drafted Jordan Love and didn't get him a wide receiver. He started getting like, well, if you're not going to go get me a draft a wide receiver, bring me one of my boys. I need someone to hang with or someone who understands the offense. I got to play golf with somebody, whatever
Liberty
it may
National,
be.
tough track. Cobb's going to bring an extra sleeve of Pro V1s. We're good.
And so the outside view of the Jets is a little bit. You let Aaron Rodgers do that to you? Come on, like, really?
Oh, you're getting played. He's bending you over.
It's not
okay,
even
great.
getting played.
Let me ask you this:
it's not even getting played because the likelihood of the Jets winning a Super Bowl it's increasing. But it's nowhere near guaranteed, especially in the AFC. And so, if after all this hoopla, all of this, we got Aaron Rodgers, and it took forever. Now I don't think it's Aaron Rodgers. I think it is other things going on. Mainly the value of the trade. Neither one of these sides, the Packers or the Jets, want to get fleeced in a sense. So that's what's taken so long for this thing to get consummated because you know what's happening. As I said a week ago, nobody else wants Aaron Rodgers, and the Jets need Aaron Rodgers.
It's done.
So I mean, it's going to get done, but just the idea that you're letting Aaron Rodgers kind of mold this team for a year or two.
That's right.
And
shape away.
And it could cost the head coach's job.
I'm not worried about that right now.
That's just a little bit dicey.
Okay, so you just said something before. You said, the outside view of the Jets, right? You said that, and the people aren't laughing in their face, but the outside view of the Jets is, one of, relinquishing control and unconventional bestowing of power, and it's a little bit much. That's fine.
Yep.
Let me ask you this. Before Aaron Rodgers, and I can't say came here, but because he's not officially here yet, but I'm going to say came.
When he is here.
I'm going to say came. Before Aaron Rodgers came here, what was the outside view of the Jets?
That's right.
Exactly.
I hear what you're
the
saying.
outside view of the Jets has always been one of punching bag, rudderless franchise, inept, hopeless, butt fumbles, failed draft picks, crazy fan base. So what?
But I would have argued that was going away. I really felt like it was going away. Now, the one thing that held it up was Zach Wilson. Let's be real. It was Zach. The free agents, forget the first, Joe Douglas's first couple of drafts. It is what it is. Sometimes you're going to hit, sometimes you're going to, you didn't know what the hell he was doing as the guy making the final decision. I forgive him in a sense for that because of how great he's been in free agency in the draft and trades over the last couple of years. So, Joe Douglas took a little bit of, time to find his sea legs. Now he's cruising. Now he's standing strong. And then when the wave comes, he's like, he doesn't even move.
He's got his legs. He's good. He's clenching his butt cheeks. He's good.
Exactly.
He's not getting thrown around.
But now, after all of that, after weathering that early rough drafting reputation, he steadied himself. Zach Wilson.
I got you.
He steadied himself. And he's just handing it over to Aaron Rodgers just so you can get an iconic player who, we hope he's not done, but he is 39 years old.
Please don't. You of all people don't even hint. I know you're kidding. You know he's nowhere near being done.
Of course I'm kidding.
Come on.
But the reality is, this is not great team building. It's almost desperation building, and I don't think it's in the best interest of the Jets long term. Maybe for a year. They're not winning a Super Bowl next year. Maybe unless they get really lucky and fortunate and other things happen. But it feels like you're sacrificing a lot reputationally and what you're trying to do, what he's been trying to do for the last couple of years just to get Aaron Rodgers.
All right, 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney here on the Fan. We're inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. Our friends at Town Fair remind you that you always get the guarantee lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. So this is where I really laugh. You know, the way this is hijacked and twisted into something that is not even remotely close to what's actually happening. So they're bringing in, if that whole list is met, let's just say, and by the way, I don't even believe it's a list of demands.
I want the one guy, if I'm the Jets, that they already got.
Agreed.
The rest
I'll
of them,
take Beckham too. On a team deal, I'll take Beckham in a heartbeat, right?
On the right deal.
He's
on the right deal.
Yes.
On the right deal.
But the way it's being positioned, it's demands. No. What really happened was the Jets smartly went to an all-timer and said, who would make you feel more comfortable? Who would help transfer from the film room to the practice field Hackett's verbiage in terms of schematics and making everybody feel more comfortable? And Rodgers gave him a list of names, and we're going to begrudge him for doing that? Listen, I'm not. And what people are missing, so first of all, they're going to cut Corey Davis. And Corey Davis
They're going to try to trade him, but they're not
either way, he's going to be an ex-Jet. I got you. Is he on the team next year?
No.
Okay. So he's not a Jet. Corey Davis was a C-plus free agent signing. Basically did nothing here. Was hurt a lot. Jets didn't win. Whatever. See ya. All right, so Lazard is better than Corey Davis, and he's a year and a half, 2 years younger. Number one. Oh, my God. Randall Cobb, he's so old. He's done. It's pathetic. He's going to hold Aaron Rodgers. You know, he's going to hold his coffee in the morning. What are you doing with this guy? The two guys that the Jets got rid of, Berrios, I respect Braxton Berrios. Braxton Berrios was a complete zero on offense a year ago. Didn't do anything. And he wasn't even that good on punt. Like his return game took a big step back. But Berrios is gone, right? Vincent Smith, whatever, gone. So they're literally gone. They've already they're gone. So the quarterback, the receiving room, and people say, oh, geez, you know, and people, so I really respect Damian Woody. I thought Damian Woody had a ridiculous tweet yesterday. We've known Wood for a long time. I like him. But his tweet was, I don't know if he was just fishing for reaction. He said something like,
knowing those guys and Dan Orlovsky and those, they were fishing for reaction.
I get it. I get it. But, you know, Woody's usually really good. But I just disagree with this premise. He basically said something along the lines of, what's going to happen when the important guys, and I don't want to mix his words, but it was something like the important guys get either pushed to the side or their role is diminished with the infusion of new players. That's not what he wrote at all, but that was pretty much the gist of what he said. Does anybody think that Elijah Moore and, more importantly, Garrett Wilson ain't playing? Does anybody think that those guys aren't getting targets?
No.
Exactly. So you get rid of one receiver, you bring in somebody else who's better in terms of the Lazard-Davis swap, and there's no problems. The Jets are already better in the receiving room, and they're about to get much better in the quarterback room. Would everybody please chill? I mean, there's overreaction, there's negativity. Now, listen, once the season starts, if he looks old, that's one thing. That will be a different level of analysis. But to pour on the hate and the heat, just to hate and to bring heat, it's getting old, man. It's pathetic. No, the Jets are not selling their soul and acquiescing to a quarterback and doing whatever he tells them to do. You sound like an unhinged lunatic. You sound like a hater. Haterade. 877-337-6666. All right. Let's start. Manny's up in New Hampshire. Should be an interesting day. He says it's time to move on from Rodgers. All right, Manny. What's happening,
buddy?
What's
up, Manny?
We got more snow than you want to imagine. I got like 2.5 feet, just over 2. So I think that just over 2 feet. But I'm listening to. I'm a Giants fan. I love you, Teak.
2.5 feet. Wait, where are you?
Sucks for you, New Hampshire,
dude.
New Hampshire.
He ain't playing golf for a while.
That's
good.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
You know what the guys do?
What?
They go down to the Cape, which has almost no snow.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy.
You get that out of your system. I like to ride motorcycles, so I'm not riding motorcycles either.
There you go.
Got it.
There you go.
I love you, Tiki. Good memories. Been Big Blue forever.
Love it.
But I feel for seriously, I'm not saying this is a smart guy. This whole business with Rodgers, let it pass. I mean, this is, the New York media, Tiki. You guys know this media. They're going to eat this guy up. When he starts talking about going into a dark place and, checking out his, I don't know what he's doing, Metamucil or whatever he's doing there. They're going to eat him up alive down there.
Well, I mean, he's just not going to respond.
They're going to eat him
I'm
alive.
actually kind of
Jeez.
curious. I think he'll be
Jeez.
fine. I'm just curious to see how he reacts.
Talk about an antiquated position. The New York media is going to eat an athlete alive. When was the last time that happened? 1994?
Well, it dep-
Athletes don't get. Yeah, the
Remember
Daily
Randy
News
Johnson?
is going to eat him alive.
Manny.
Get out of
Yeah,
here.
remember Randy
Hold on.
Johnson?
Manny, the New York media ate Zach Wilson alive. Let's just be
exactly.
real about
He
it.
earned it.
True.
And he
did.
wasn't mentally prepared to deal with it.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers will ignore and then laugh at people.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how they approach him. Now, here's what I'm more concerned about, Manny, is how Jet fans, and I want to ask you a question before I let you off. Jet fans respond to how he answers. Say they have a bad game or whatever it is, whatever the situation is, and he's got to answer, and he's just kind of dismissive. That's what I'm worried about. It's not the media, it's the fan. Because I remember this with. I'm trying to think of the coach. McAdoo. It's been McAdoo when he started answering these questions about Eli, and it was just like, what are you talking
We're
about?
going to compare McAdoo to Aaron Rodgers?
I'm just saying how we respond to dumb answers. Like we just don't accept.
Yeah.
Right? You're right? Manny, what kind of motorcycle you got?
I got a sweet 2001 Electric Glide. Okay, you ready for this?
Go ahead.
I got 221,000 miles on it. That's my favorite baby. I got
Dude,
a
you take that
V-Rod.
thing all over the place.
Spring.
You gone
Oh, I
coast to
got a
coast
V-Rod
yet?
with Civic, yeah.
You got coast to coast yet?
No, I need to do coast to coast. I live in the most glorious area of the entire
Yeah, that's
United
true.
States.
Woody, how do you put on 221,000 miles? Go to
I know.
Walmart around the corner? I mean, you got to be driving somewhere.
Manny, I have a fat boy low. I have a fat boy low
Thanks,
from
man.
2009. I love it. I haven't been on it in, I don't know, 6 years.
Yeah, that thing's been collecting dust for a while.
because once Tegan was born,
Yeah.
Tracy was like, "You're not riding that
Yeah,
thing."
all the toys go away.
All the toys go away.
Become
But
a daddy again,
I'm
and all the fun goes.
I'm itching to
Nah,
get back on it at some point.
But listen, back to, and I know that you're
But
not
you know
comparing.
what I
but
mean.
well, I do, but I definitely know
Because
what
you
you
are
mean.
the one that point this out for most of the.
Listen,
And
what-
it just usually was happening to Giants
Okay.
coaches and players.
Now, let's just be
that
real,
you
though.
were pointing this out
Okay.
with.
if your premise was if Rodgers plays poorly, you're curious to see what happens. His reaction.
Just how he responds.
Okay, gotcha.
I heard Boomer and Gio doing, a simulation of how Aaron is going to be on Pat McAfee this afternoon, and Gio was dead on him, like dead on it, like. Tell us about OBJ. Oh, he's been a great player. I'm sure he'd be great to sign him somewhere. Good for him. Like he's not going to admit anything.
That's fine.
He's
I don't
gonna
need him to admit anything. Just play well.
He's going to be so dismissive.
Yeah, but listen.
And I wonder how that plays in New York. Not by the media. I disagree with Manny on that point. But by us, by
well, we are the media.
fan base. Well, no, but
Okay, I got you.
we're not.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not a journalist, but we're part of the media.
The media is the journalism. I'm not talking about that.
Journalism's been dead for 20 years. Journalism doesn't even
We're
exist.
entertaining.
Journalism.
We're trying to entertain you. How are we all going to respond?
I'm going to rant and rave like a lunatic. I'm going to bury him when he plays poorly, like I do with everybody else. And you know what's going to happen, Aaron Rodgers?
What's that?
He's going to say, "Who is this bull loudmouth? This guy's an idiot," and he's going to ignore me. And he's not going to impact his world one bit. Let me listen. I mean, anybody that's on the air that thinks that I don't care who you are, that thinks that you're so important that what you say is going to adversely impact Aaron Rodgers' thought process, you're out of your mind.
Well, he listens.
Okay, that's great, but it doesn't impact him. Now, it may have impacted
Probably right.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Yep, it may have impacted Blackjack McDowell with the Yankees when he gave the fans the finger. May have impacted Brett Saberhagen with the Mets. I'm not saying it doesn't impact certain people. It doesn't impact Jedis. Now,
So now he's a Jedi.
absolutely. Yes, he's immune to our criticism. Doesn't bother him. He doesn't care. I'm not important to him. You're not important to him. Boomer's not important to him. Gio, Craig, Evans, Sal, Keith, we don't matter.
Now, does that play in New York? That's the only question.
It plays if he plays well.
That's the
and he
only
will.
question I'm asking.
And he's going to play well. That's it. I mean, the media. Come on. This guy's been at it for almost 20 years. 877-337-6666. We don't have an answer. Let's abandon plan. It's done. Would everybody please relax?